Welcome to Come and See, your podcast for finding truth in a world of chaos. Brought to you by Living Waters Abide Ministries. With host and founder, Richard Case, and co-host and retreat leader, Kathy Rocconi. Join us every weekday at this time to discuss news, spend time in the Word, and receive answers to your personal questions about living life in God's truth. And now your host, Richard Case.
Well, good morning, Kathy.
Good morning.
Here we are. This will be airing September the 29th, Monday the 29th. So it's headed toward October. Here we go.
Woohoo.
And it's always fun. You and I love fall.
Mm-hmm.
And our families love fall. So it's always special. Of course, I love all the seasons, quite frankly. But
I like the change of having four seasons. I like 4 seasons. Yeah.
Yeah. And, we have been avid skiers, snow skiers. Mm-hmm. So, but, as time marches on, there's even our family used to, we have all our kids and grandkids were all on the Copper Mountain racing team. So there's outstanding skiers. Mm-hmm. They can go down double black diaments and cliffs and all that stuff.
And you've stayed a very aggressive skier for
I've stayed a very aggressive skier. I don't go down cliffs. But I like to go fast, and I go down steep hills. Linda a little bit less so, but even the family, but Joshua and Aiden going to college. Mm-hmm. It's not as easy to get up to the mountains anymore.
Right.
So last year they skied less than they ever have, and probably this year they'll ski even more less. So we're trying to look at how we can spend more time in warmer weather. It's funny. This year, actually, because of Aiden and his girlfriend, who's in Wisconsin, we know their family, very sweet Christian family. And we're going to actually go together during Christmas week to I guess it's an all-inclusive resort near, not too far from Cancun, somewhere in there.
Okay.
That Peter and them arranged it, and we're just going.
Fun, good for
you. But they've got the parasailing and the all that stuff that you can do.
I'm telling you, the all-inclusives are a fun way to vacation.
Yeah,
because you really don't have to think; you just get to enjoy.
So it's kind of funny, and it's interesting how the season of life changes. Because our typical between Christmas and New Year's, we'd always go up to Vail or Aspen and go skiing, snowmass usually, and we'd ski, and that was a fun time and a beautiful time, and everybody loved doing it. But it's like, well, let's try a warmer place. And hey, Aiden's girlfriend's family would like to go to the Caribbean.
Oh, so you guys will be at the same resort?
We're all going to go. We're all going together.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we're all going together. And so we're going to go down there together and have 5 or 6 days of just hanging out and relaxing. Actually, it'll be a good time to relax, And so we'll be doing something a little bit differently. But the season of life, changes, and this would be good for Aiden and his girlfriend and his family and get to know them. So it's kind of an interesting, that you do have certain traditions that are important, but it's funny how they change over time.
Right. Yeah. Ours have definitely taken a whirlwind as, in the last 5 years, all 3 kids have now gotten married, or last 6 years anyway, all 3 kids getting married. And so things, we're reinventing. How are we going to, because the heart of what we want is tradition and time together, but we don't need to necessarily be married to what it always looked like, because we need to change with what works for everybody now in this season, with still keeping the sweetness of gathering together and having that time. Right.
Yeah. I'm actually working on new material. I've been actually working on it for lots of years, just putting it together, but God said it's time to kind of push it together. But I'm developing the idea of the matriarch and patriarch of a family.
Oh, that's good.
And what does that look like? And I'm going to approach it from 2 different angles. Is, like you and Dan, Linda and I, most of our leaders are really getting into the spot where you're in a matriarch, patriarch position. And the fundamental thought is to create memories that are spectacular.
Right.
And it's not just, it's going to spectacular places, but it's also, like you did this summer, you had a good memory.
Right. And it was a staycation.
Yeah.
We
And
went
like,
nowhere. Yeah.
and I've helped like Dave Dunkel and Melissa. Their grandchildren group is growing, and we've talked about this, about creating good memories, and so they've been bringing their children and grandchildren up to their New Hampshire
Right.
house and the lake. They have a boat and they do lake stuff, and they've created a memory already, a series of memories that the kids now, I want to go there. He was telling me that one of his kids had to write a story before he left for summer break. What is it that you want to do on summer break? And the boy, I think he's 8 or 9 years old, wrote, "It's not what I want to do, it's what I get to do."
Sweet.
He said, "I get to go to, Grandpa's, I think they call him Bidu, go to Bidu's ranch or farm. And I get to go there." And he talked all about it because already, see, it's a memory. So anyway, I'm developing material of how do we do that, and use what I call our discretionary income to, because our, like, as you know, you got a bunch of young marrieds.
Right.
The one thing they don't have is a lot of money.
That's true. That is so true.
So can you use some of your funds to create those memories and go to places, et cetera? And then I'm going to approach it from that angle, but I'm going to approach it also from the other angle of your children. You're part of a family, and your mom and dad would like to create these kind of memories. How do you, there's three things you got to deal with as a young couple or a couple. Okay. How do I join that and have joy with it? How do I have my own development of my memories with just my family, which is important. So it's not to be,
and it can be tricky to navigate all that because you have limited time.
And then third is, how do I handle the other relationship? So they're part of your family, but they're also part of their own family. And your son or daughter is now part of their family too.
Right.
So, well, it'd be nice if they always came to our place. Or did our things, but the other side has to do the same thing, and they want to spend time with that. And how do you, and you work it, and there's scheduling and there's ways of doing it. And like I've got a couple that is doing this, and what they do is they plan with this year, and they kind of alternate Thanksgiving and Christmas. This year, we'll all gather at Thanksgiving, and then you either have your own family or go to the opposite. Next year, you'll probably want to go to your in-laws Thanksgiving, and so it's like an every other year deal, right. And and they have to work it all out. But it's to step into the beauty of a family dynamic that God always intended, of celebration. And memory building. So I'm developing material on that, and it'll be kind of fun to see if we can get something out someday.
That's fun. Well, and even when you're doing that, I'm thinking about, just because of the spectrum of people that I work with, and we talk about traditions and that sort of thing, is also being very inclusive of, there are those out there that want to build these same type of memories, these same sort of things that honestly don't, and even at our season of life, will not have discretionary income to do it with.
Right.
What does it look like to creatively keep to the heart of building these traditions without having to break the bank to do it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because you can do it.
So that's an important thing, because I think sometimes we can get caught up on that the grand has to be a grand location or a grand trip or a grand this. And the grand is the time spent. It's the investment in the relationship. And so you can be very creative with how that happens, even if you don't have the budget to do something that you would consider grand. The grand
Correct.
is more in the time, the investment of the time, than it is anything else.
Yeah. And we'll include that in there in terms of, that you can use your house and other people's houses, and, just do things around your house that can be fun to
you can get
create
creative.
the memory of it. Yeah, that's good. We've been talking about love God with your heart, mind, and soul, and the dealing with difficult relationships. We talked last time about boundaries, and a boundary is going to be required. And here's the conditions. We have a conflict. Somebody is hurting me, manipulating me, controlling me. And I tend to fall into it.
Right.
And there's a system that has developed, particularly in a family dynamic of, it could be, a relative, a mom and dad, sisters and brothers, other aunts and uncles, just certain things that it's not going to be pleasant per se.
Right.
But we do get together. Everybody kind of knows it. But I'm bothered by it to the point of it really irritates me and I get upset and I don't know what to do with it because it's there, and this could be, by the way, there could be a business situation, a boss, an employer, an investor, a board member. I mean, somebody could have power over you and is working against you, and it really bothers you. And it's not fair, it's not just, but you in essence, can't do anything about it. Could be a friend, could be somebody from church. There's all kinds of, there's a variety. And I'm sure everybody who's listening would say, I know
somebody,
some people like that. Yeah, I have that in my life, and you're going to have it. So the scenario is you have this person that is, your heart is good, you've gone to forgiveness, but you don't see any way that you can come to a place of resolution. As far as you're concerned, I've either got to fight it, take my own vengeance, or I got to just live with it. And I can't do anything about it. It's going to be miserable every time I go. It's going to be miserable, or the situation with my business is going to be miserable, and I can't get around it. And God said in those scenarios, the ideal, again, would always be if they have a heart to go, talk it through. That would be the ideal, and that's my best and highest will, always. But you already know that's not happening.
Right.
And he said, fundamentally, I don't want you praying as your solution. Well, God changed them to do what they should do. And God said, you can pray all that all day long, but I don't violate their free will. I will invite them, and I would love for them to repent and to grow because it would help them.
Right.
But they're not gonna at the moment. So don't go that way. I've got to give you a different way to do it. So he says, I will help you set up a healthy boundary. And the healthiness is for you.
Right.
That works for you so that you can be there, know it's going to happen, not engage in it, live with it for the short period of time, and then release it. And you don't let it penetrate your spirit, your soul. And I'll tell you what that looks like. Okay, now we learned last time, and this is in Romans, it says, don't take vengeance yourself and don't be wise in your own opinion.
Right.
In other words, I'll set my own boundary, or I'll take vengeance, or I'll accept it. He said, that will never work because you don't know how to do this. And by the way, it's unique every single time, so don't develop a formula. I'll show you the way and let me do it. Okay, now he tells us in Proverbs, he actually tells us a couple cool things of how to approach this. Read Proverbs 3, 5 and 6, and then 7 and 8, and then 13 to 18.
Sure. 5 and 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. And then 7 and 8, do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. It will be health to your flesh and strength to your bones. And 13 to 18. Happy is the man who finds wisdom and the man who gains understanding. For her proceeds are better than the profits of silver, and her gain than fine gold. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things you may desire cannot compare with her. Length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. Her ways are of pleasantness, and her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who take hold of her, and happy are all those who retain her.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah, right?
So he connects some things here is, I'll guide your steps. Don't lean on your understanding, what you think is the right way to go. I'll guide them, and it'll be step by step by step. So don't worry about the whole solution. Even when Linda and I were setting up this boundary with my mom, it was just take the first step. Go set it up for 2 nights and 3 days, several weeks before Christmas, just you and Linda.
Right.
And that's the step I want you to take. We didn't really know the outcome of that. We know what we were heading into. And the thing was, set it up, stay there for 2 nights and 3 days. Your mom is going to continue to come after you and draw you into fight and debate and hostility. Do not engage.
Right.
So go there and don't engage. And you need Linda to help both cover you with prayer. And you set up a way that when she sees that you're about ready to engage, and in this case,
Kicking
it
you
was
under the table.
she's gonna kick me under the table, and I had some sore shins because she knows me, and she
right.
can see,
When it's coming.
where you want to engage, and she would kick. Oh yeah, that's right, not engage, and so it was funny because and he gave us wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll guide your steps. And he says, don't be wise in your own eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is, why don't you just stop figuring it out yourself?
Right.
Really. I mean, like completely. I'm going to use your ability to think and ability to process and come to some understanding, but don't you solve this problem on your own in any way. It's unique, tricky, and difficult. I'll show you. Seek wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you what it's going to look like. And wisdom, see, is the practical application of truth to a specific situation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a generic thing. And like you said before, it's not for formulaic.
Right.
That, well, I can do A, B, and C. No, this is unique. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do in your particular situation.
Right.
And by the way, none of this, Rich, could even think of happening if you don't have forgiveness in your heart.
Right.
If your heart isn't right, don't even bother. Because you're doing it in the flesh, you're doing it outside the kingdom, and you're just re-engaging in the enemy's game. So if that's what you want to do, go ahead. But if you really want to let me show you how to have freedom and peace and joy, let me do it. Okay. And number one, do you have forget? Could you treat your mom with honor and respect? And by the way, that wasn't easy.
Right. Right.
So I had to try. I had to work at it. So we did. And then he said, okay, now read verse 17 and 18 again, because it's kind of an important understanding of where I'm going, where God says where I'm going with this.
Okay. It says, her ways are of pleasantness and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who take hold of her, and happy are all those who retain her.
Yeah. So he said, well, now remember, he says, when you go into the scenario, you're going to be on my path with my steps.
Right.
All of my paths are pleasantness, and the thing are extremely enjoyable. Our
Even
shalom,
when you're walking in a difficult situation.
Hey, I'm going to be in a difficult situation.
Yes.
So he said, this path is going into that place. So I'm not removing you from it, because you already understand you can't.
Right.
And if you accept it and live with it or rejoin it, it's not going to be pleasant for you.
Right.
So I got a different way.
But if you listen to me, if you surrender to me, you can even in the middle of it have pleasantness, right?
I'm going to give you a boundary. So it'll be pleasant, and it'll be shalom, peace. It'll be favorable. You'll be okay with it. It's not going to draw you out of that peace, which is the goal of the enemy and using in this scenario. And you'll be happy. Okay, so I'm going to have pleasantness, peace, and happiness in the middle of going into the lion's den? Yep, you are. I'll show you what that looks like.
Right.
So 2 nights, 3 days, don't engage. Don't react. Say nothing. She'll continue it. And even he told us, hey, by the way, when you this first time when you do it, she's actually going to get worse because she's used to you engaging, which is what she likes doing.
Right.
And you're not going to engage, and she's actually going to work harder to get you to engage.
To try to get you to, right.
So, and we said, okay, how do we handle that? And so he gave us this great idea. He said, why don't you two play a game? Why don't you guess how many times she tries to do this while you're there for the 3 days and 2 nights, and keep track. And it'll be more than it was in the past. So guess high. And so I said, okay, Linda, let's see who's going to be right. What's your number? Well, here's my number. And what we did is he said, when you make a game of it, your focus is just on playing the game, not on engaging with her. It's like, hey, and we kind of like, keeping track of, 3, 4, 5, and Linda kicked me a few times, and he said, take that step. Here's the wisdom of the boundary I'm setting up for you that's healthy for you. And we made it. We left. We had the number, and Linda's number was higher. Was better than mine. She was higher than mine and better than mine. But it was like, hey, you know what? We actually went through the weekend without getting drawn into a battle. And it was pleasant for us.
Right.
Actually, for my mom at the moment, that wasn't super pleasant because she was like, why aren't you reacting? but it was pleasant for us. We had shalom, and we were, it's like, hey, that worked. And we said, you know what? I don't even have to do this now for another 5 or 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So, and in some cases, maybe it's monthly or even sometimes weekly that, it's going to have to do it again. But okay, now you let it go. He said, now let this go. Don't think about it anymore. When you go the next time, I'll give you some more insight and wisdom and how to do it and how to get prepared for it. But, and then in the meantime, I want you to talk to her on the phone and keep developing that relationship. And it's going to be surfacey stuff, and she's going to try to drag you into stuff, and don't engage.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did. And so we went back again, 4 or 5 months later, 2 days, 2 nights, 3 days. We noticed that her attempts got less.
Mm.
And it was a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
And by then, I've already got out that, you know what? My heart's protected. I don't need to accept this. I don't need to engage.
So there's been some growth in the midst of it too.
And growth in my heart. And so I'm easier with it. Linda's easier with it. Kept calling her. Did it again. The third time was easier. After a couple of years, she really almost stopped doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because God rearranged the relationship, and she really got nowhere with what she was doing. And so she kind of quit even trying because it never got anywhere.
Wasn't getting the reward she was looking for.
So it got easier and easier and easier, and it was more pleasant. And we went from fear, like we gotta really get strong here, to God has worked this out, so it works.
Mm-hmm.
Then after a couple of years, I think a third year, he said, now you can bring your children.
Mm-hmm.
And we brought our children back into it. And by then, so she stopped, and she still had a few certain things that she would do irrationally with kids particularly. But we told them, hey, don't worry about it. It's going to be, she's going to do this, but we're not going to accept it. Don't worry. And so we got to bring them back into it. So over time, it got better and better and better. We never actually went back to a holiday. Mm-hmm. We always operated this way. And we recognized, you know what? This 2 nights and 3 days works. Mm. That's a great boundary. That's enough. We know if it was longer, it wouldn't be great. If it's shorter, it wouldn't be good for her. And we worked it out the rest of our life. That's how we operated. Mm. Never talked ever about the depth of anything. Never challenged her. Never said you should or shouldn't or how come.
Yet if God had told you to, you would have, but he never prompted you to. Yeah.
No. And so he said, seek wisdom. And all I can tell you is that God has the answer. Mm-hmm. And we can help you with it if you have a situation that you need some help with, or you have an inner circle that can help you with it. And if you just process by seeking God's will, he will get you a specific piece of wisdom. And it'll take the step and try it out. Right. It doesn't mean it could have been, it went to a bad place, or there was something else we needed to know about it. Because remember, it's teaching and learning. Mm-hmm. So it's not like it all have to work up front. It's just, what I say is,
what about now?
Yeah. So the 2 questions when I have people who are trying to set boundaries is, okay, what do you believe God's saying to you? Mm-hmm. And do you have confirmation? Go test it. And by the way, be faithful to that. Mm-hmm. And then when you leave, ask the question, how did it go? Mm-hmm. And did it go okay? Did it not go okay? What went well? What didn't go well? Okay, now what? How do I refine this? Because God says, I want to get you to a place where it's healthy for you, knowing that you're going to have to be with this person.
Right.
Or these people. So Heavenly Father, we thank you for the truth of this. We'll keep understanding what that looks like, but we just ask that you give us the heart to let you guide our steps, not to be wise in our own eyes, but to seek wisdom, knowing that your answers are pleasantness, it's peace, and it's happiness if we have a heart to go. And you will give us the correct boundary that will be healthy for us in a way that we don't have to get impacted by this in a negative way. And so we praise you and we thank you in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Well, thanks so much for sharing, Rich, and thank you for joining us, listeners. If you have questions from today's broadcast, send them in to us at questionsandAbideMinistries.com, and we'll see you next time.
See you then.
Thank you for joining us for today's episode of Come and See, your podcast for truth in a world of chaos. Brought to you by Living Waters Abide Ministries. Send us your questions and comments, and tune in tomorrow for more answers to your personal questions about living life in God's truth. Remember, God's will is best and none better. His truth brings peace in this world of chaos.